Hey everyone, it's Chris from Sidephone here, and wanted to do a quick update on what we were up to in August and what to expect in September. We've got quite an exciting month ahead, and we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting, which I wanted to share with everyone here. First, in terms of what we were up to in August, I guess most recently, one of the most exciting updates was Sebastian and I actually met in person for the first time for almost the entire year, basically the entire year. Every single interaction I had with Sebastian was through a video conferencing call. It was just exclusively online, and we had done so much together in that format, but we had never broken the digital barrier into real life. And this past weekend, we had made a plan to meet up in New York, and that was exceptional. It was quite a moment, and we had a ton of fun. We had met at a village called Watkins Glen. We had hiked for a bit, we went for dinner, and then there was also a brewery by the lake that we had gone to and got a few drinks at. And in terms of other items that we had done in August, the first was continuing through setting up the store so that we can kick off pre-orders. There was a bit of a delay there, and part of it was just setting up the US entity and some of the other items behind the scenes in order to be ready for pre-orders. Another major component of that was testing, getting to a point where we could verify the bands that the device would support and the connectivity there. That testing, that antenna fine-tuning is going to continue into September, but we have greater confidence every single week in what the final version will look like. And we'll be ready very soon to kick that off. My goal is hopefully to begin pre-orders within the next week, and just continue to look out for an email there. The way that we'll do it, again, is we'll send out a mass email to let everyone know that the pre-orders have begun, and then we'll go step by step in batches based off of where you'd signed up in the process. And the first pre-orders are going to be for people in the US. That's our initial focus, and once that is complete, we're going to move on to Canada, UK, and the EU. And then into next year, we'll be accepting pre-orders for the rest of the world. So that's sort of the rough plan. And in terms of, again, the rollout through there, it's not going to be a whole blast all at once to go in and get the device. We're going to go step by step based off of the order of where people had signed up to the mailing list. So say, for example, you were one of the first 2,000 people to have signed up. It'll be even less than that. It'll be likely batches of 1,000 people. If you're one of the first 1,000 people, we'll give you a bit of time to go in, purchase the phone before moving on to the next batch and so forth. So please look forward to that in the coming days. And in terms of other things that we had done in August, a big part of it was actually on brand and design. It's kind of funny, just like with the phones, how we had iterated from design to design. This is actually what I'm holding in my hand right now is the third iteration of Sidephone's design. When it initially started off, it looked incredibly different from what I currently have here in my hands. That first phone did not have any modularity whatsoever. It was a simple burner phone. That's what it was intended to be, but it had these smarter capabilities, this ability to have apps on it, which we've of course kept and only increased the capability of over time. But this phone is the iteration that introduced the modularity, and the modularity specifically to set different intentions with the device that you have in your pocket. So just like with the iterations of the physical hardware, we also iterated on the brand and design, the marketing aspects of the product. And we initially started with this logo that was slightly italicized. Then we moved into more of this sort of space theme. And I think the third iteration that we've arrived at really drives home what we'd want to reflect with the product. And some of you may be watching this and thinking, what's the big deal about the logo, the brand? It's actually something we spent quite a bit of time on, because we wanted to make sure that the qualities we convey are true to what we expect you'd experience with the product. And I'm excited to see what you guys think about that. In terms of what's to come in September, very exciting month. Of course, as I mentioned, it's going to be the pre-orders. But one of the things that I'm going to personally be doing is traveling Europe. I'm leaving tomorrow night. I'm going to be heading to Dublin. I'm going to spend a couple nights there. And from Dublin, I'm going to Copenhagen. From Copenhagen to Berlin. From Berlin, going to London. London to Italy, and several countries from there as well. My trip's all total going to be about 1.5, 2 months. And I thought it would be really cool if during the trip we did a bit of a meetup. I'm still figuring out the exact details and how it would work, but I think it would be so cool if we could possibly do a meetup in each city at a pub or somewhere similar where people that are interested in Sidephone can actually see it, hold it, use it. That I think would be the coolest thing. And that is something to definitely look forward to. I'll post more information about that on Reddit. The other thing in September that we'll be doing is we'll be sharing the cases that we've developed for Sidephone and the colors of those cases, what it would look like to put it onto the device. That update is coming very soon. And the other update is going to be some of the different tiles that we've designed. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about what they are. Those are going to be shared in the posts. But I do promise it's going to be quite cool. And that's about it for now. Really excited to, of course, have the opportunity to be working on this project with everyone that we've met along the way. And I'm excited to get it into your hands. So definitely look forward to more of those communications into September, and we'll be in touch. We are live, I think. Did I turn it on? Okay, well, now we are live. What a day.
What a day.
It feels surreal. I think the biggest thing for me is just I've been trying to figure. I guess I've just been reconciling with the fact that we've literally built a phone.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
It's been almost 10 months. It'll be 10 months in just a couple weeks since we were first really working on it.
It's flown by.
Yeah,
it's flown
it really
by.
has.
And like that first moment, I just remember the Zoom call when I jumped on the call with you and went through the initial pitch. I actually looked at that same deck recently, just last week, and to see what the brand looks like now, the brand identity, all the materials that Emilio's put together, to see what the product looks like versus what it first looked like. Those first slides, the first version of the phone, to where we're now is completely night and day.
It's a world of difference.
And I feel like my learning throughout this whole adventure has accelerated immensely. Like every week, I feel like I've learned an entire new level or layer of how to build a business.
Yeah.
It's been super cool.
It really has been the coolest thing. It both feels like it's flown by and it feels like it's been forever. Like if I think like, wow, we're already here close to the very end of August. Like, whoa, that seems to have gone by really fast. But if I think about where we were in January, it feels like forever ago, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like there's an interesting to it that where it's like, oh, we've come so far. I guess that's what it is. It's how far we've come feels like very, very, very far. And the time doesn't seem that long. It's just interesting. Which, yeah. Yeah. But it's just, I mean, it's been awesome.
Well, I guess for context, this is the first day Sebastian and I have actually met in person, face to face. We had met online, basically reached out to Ghostphone, and I'd really liked the fact that I'd liked the way that you had packaged the apps for Ghostphone. So you had a intentional OS, and then online you had the availability of the other apps, and in the way that you had done it, I guess I got the impression that it was similar to F-Droid, to other applications, which has a whole host of advantages. And that knowledge, that complex, the ability to implement that on a product like Sidephone would have been exceptional. So we had connected, but that was completely remote. You were in New York, I was in Toronto, and the entire project, like the last 10 months, we've just literally been doing Zoom calls, and now
we're here.
Now it's we're currently in Watkins Glen.
Yeah, Watkins Glen,
which is kind of a halfway point to us in a way, and it's been the most incredible day.
Yeah, and we have some photos and videos that I'm sure.
Yeah, I think
we'll
that's
be
the coolest thing. I think seeing the what like actual adventures and a day trip with a Sidephone looks like is
what
really
it looks
cool.
like, what it's like to use it. And
Yeah. What are you most excited by in like the next 30 days of the project?
the next 30 days. Can I talk about the launch? Just that I'm excited for
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Because I'm excited for the launch, like to actually start all of that, like for things to start really getting to that end of things. I'm excited at some point to do another OS demo because I know there's more people want to see. Things are only going to get more polished on that end.
The icons, the UX.
Yeah, all of that. Like especially
out background wallpapers.
Yeah, all that very surface level UI stuff that will have looking really good. I'm very excited to show that off. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always the operating system stuff, but also additional tiles and things like that. I'm super excited, and I'm super excited to get my hands on when we're able to do that.
What would be the setup you would use for your personal Sidephone?
For me personally, I would be using the QWERTY tile and the music tile. Pretty much those two. I'm not the biggest T9 guy, but QWERTY always super excites me, just on a personal level. And I do a lot of texting, more so than calling. And then music for in the car or at the gym would be so nice. I was actually wishing I was on my motorcycle the other day, and I recently my brother got me for my birthday like a unit that plays music through the helmet, and I was riding and I was like, oh, there's no way to change the song on that. My phone's in my pocket. If I just had it facing up, I could tap the button like at a stoplight or whatever, because I'm not going to take my phone out. I was like, oh, man, I wish I had the music tile already. Like, that was a weird use case, but that was definitely one that I could see myself using. So yeah, I would be using the QWERTY tile probably day to day, and then the music tile probably, at the gym, car, times like that where there's more music going on. But what about you? What are you most excited for? And what would your setup be?
From day one,
I know yours is a little different than mine.
It's wonky. It's weird. From day one, I thought the coolest use case of the phone would be having it sort of like a remote control to your life. That was really the intention I'd gone into the project with. So for me, it's literally like a 3x3 grid of buttons, which I think looks so cool and futuristic. And just it's a head turner. It's like, what is that? What's going on? I think that getting to a world where those could be mapped to open up apps, to launch a function, control things, possibly in the future around your home, that's the world that I think I would want to get to for my personal device and experience. So that excites me. It's not necessarily what we'll have available on day one, but that's the vision, that's the intention. And I think there's a whole host of opportunity. It's just such a cool platform. I don't think there's been another modular phone that has been successful in the market. There have been attempts, there have been marketed versions, there have been like Project R, for example, but no one's cracked it. And I think the reason is because there's been modularity for performance, there's been modularity for sustainability, which is actually it's not all that sustainable necessarily if you were to make every single component modular. Right. In many cases, it ends up with more waste. But by focusing on one aspect, which is modularity for intention, that I think has a lot of promise, and we're the only product to have done that. We're not going beyond that.
At least in the mobile phone space, yeah. And I really like what you said about it. It's not necessarily it is a performance swap in a way, but it's the human input performance.
Yes.
It's like the QWERTY tile increases your performance with texting, or the music one. That's a little bit harder to quantify the performance increase. But so I think it's funny that you phrased it like that, because I think you're right, where it's not the performance of the camera or the CPU. This just seems to be less of a need to change those out. But it is like the human performance element.
Well, so here's the thing too. If you were to say, for example, if you were to have a conversation just like the one we're having right now, and you were to pull out your smartphone, even just innocently, just to set it right there, it signals to me that I've now lost a degree of connection with you. But if there was a opportunity to change the device and the form factor to be something like an early 2000s camera, a point-and-shoot camera, or there was an opportunity to make it a iPod, that's a lot less. It just mentally, it's not. It doesn't have the same. It doesn't convey the same negative
connotation or
exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I think it's important for that reason too. It just sets your intention, not just for yourself and for what you want to do with your day and with your time, but it'll set the perceptions others will have of what you think you're doing with your time, which is important.
Yeah.
Someone sees you, they say, okay, he's focused, he's in the moment, she's in the moment.
Right, and I think a lot of that too comes from, with a smartphone, it being like such a black box, right? Like a smartphone, especially face up, it could be anything. Obviously it is a smartphone, but it doesn't signify any sort of intent with it, which is one of the problems, is then the intent can be anything, so it ends up being sort of, just diffuse and nothing in the end a lot of the time. But with the Sidephone and the form factor it has, with the tile being, half of the device and the screen being about the other half, and the tile swappable, it sets the intent at a physical level, which is just so nice. And even like with, me using the Sidephone as my phone for the past few weeks, more than a few weeks at this point, it's a thing I've noticed. Like, it's not just the mental break of, oh, it's a different smartphone. Because sometimes that'll happen where, like, you get a different smartphone and, maybe you're better about being on it for a day just because it's different and you haven't picked up all the habits yet, especially if you're to switch from, like, Apple to Android or use a different launcher sometimes. And it's just like, oh, the muscle memory is different, but that can be relearned. I haven't run into that at all with the Sidephone. I think a lot of it does just have to do with the form factor, the screen size. It always, and this is just my experience, but it always, to me, looks like an object, if that makes sense. It's not this like nebulous, oh, anything can come out of it type of thing. It's like, oh yeah, that's my Sidephone and it does these things. At least for me, I've had a much more pleasant experience with that on just that sort of mental level. I'm starting to get away from the point, but yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Did the restaurant message us by chance? Because I do think we should be checking that in case we missed the window.
Oh, yeah, they're ready. They did while we were doing this.
Okay. How long ago? Because if we
5 minutes.
Okay,
so
we're running.
They call. I'm going to call them back.
We're good to go. The restaurant has our table, so we're running. We gotta go.
All right. We only waited 30 minutes.
Ah, beautiful.
It says they're ready. Please respond if you're dying.